I mentioned in a previous video how I wanted to talk about the Miami Heat, but I just wasn't sure what to say. Look, I'm not a Heat fan and I don't get to watch many Heat games, alright? However, yesterday when I was on the Hoop Talk podcast on B-Soul's channel, I asked Nick Smith and my friend King, who are both Heat fans, what the reason for the Heat's sudden turnaround was. And just take a minute to listen to what they told me.
So, I gotta ask you guys, since you guys are Miami fans, how are you winning? Like, what happened all of a sudden that like triggered this team?
Dion Waiters, bro. I'm telling you, it's that man Dion Waiters. He's been, doing his thing, and hope it's paying off. So,
no joke. Like, I actually think it is Dion Waiters.
Yeah, I'm not even.
Did you hear that? The difference has been Dion Waiters. All due respect to that man Yogi Ferrell, we know he's been out here balling and has turned into one of the best stories of the NBA this season, similar to how Whiteside and Lin were in the past. But let's not just sit up here in front like Dion Waiters has been playing the best basketball of his career either. Miami won over Philly last night and is now on a 10-game winning streak. The Miami Heat have won 10 games in a row. I mean, in the comment section below, let me know on a scale from 1 to Brooklyn Nets management how stupid would I have been if before this season started I would tell you that the starting lineup of Goran Dragic, Dion Waiters, Rodney McGruder, Luke Babbitt, and Hassan Whiteside would go on a 10-game winning streak. And I wasn't trying to make jokes or anything, like I was being dead serious. How stupid would I have sounded? I probably would have lost every single last ounce of credibility that I don't even have. But a little over halfway through the season, and here we are. And you've heard it from the mouths of Miami fans themselves. Dion Waiters has been a big part of the difference. And the stats kind of back that up too. I mean, during their 10-game winning streak, he's averaging a little over 20 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists while shooting almost 50% from the field, and get this, 53% from 3. The only reason I don't think people are calling it Dion's sanity is because he was drafted number 4 overall in the 2012 draft. So with being drafted so high, it kind of puts high expectations upon you, which he's just now starting to live up to. However, there is also more to this win streak than just the greatness that is known as Dion Waiters himself. I decided to do a bit of research, and what I found that is throughout this 10-game win streak, another huge factor has been their defense. In those 10 games, they're only allowing teams 98.5 points per game. And sure, you could say, well, they played against Philly, Brooklyn twice, Dallas pre-Yogi, Detroit, Milwaukee, all those teams with sub 500 records and also not the best offensive teams whatsoever. However, they also beat the Rockets and the Warriors. And what's even more impressive with that is that they hold the Warriors to only 102 points. This is a team, actually no, both the Rockets and the Warriors are teams that basically average around 120 points per game. I believe the Rockets average like 115 and the Warriors like 118. Like I said though, they held the Warriors to 102 points per game, which besides their first game of the season and their loss to the Spurs, when they only scored 100 points, 102 points is the fewest they've scored the entire season. And then they held the Rockets to 103 points as well. And with that 98.5 points per game that teams have been averaging against them, that would have been the second best scoring defense in the NBA behind Utah. So in reality, you really can't say that this is just a hot streak as much as it might have been a revelation for the Heat. I mean, if they were just shooting the lights out every single game, then I'd be like, yeah, it's most likely just a hot streak, they'll cool off, which eventually I'm pretty sure they still will, I think. But when they are winning games on the defensive end, it's a different story, because to win games by dominating on the defensive end shows a team's desire to win. And to be honest, I can think of quite a few teams in the NBA that could use some inspiration from them on the defensive end. But I'm not going to call them out right now because we still have to get into everything else that happened from last night. Like I said earlier, the Heat got their 10th straight win with the 125-102 victory over the Sixers. Hassan Whiteside with arguably the best game of his career as he dropped 30 points and grabbed 20 rebounds in only 29 minutes. That minute to production ratio is out of this world. Dion Waiters also remained hot last night too though, as he had 21 points and 7 assists on 7 of 10 shooting from the field in his 26 minutes of play. No, this really sucks. I hate seeing a player go down with injuries, no matter who they are, but especially when it's someone as young and filled with so much potential like Zach Lavine. Now, he actually got injured Friday night in the game versus Detroit, but it just came out yesterday that he tore his ACL and is out for the remainder of the season. ACL tears are one of the worst injuries that can really happen to a player. So much about basketball involves your knees, and these injuries have destroyed some players' careers. I really hope that Zach Lavine comes back from this even stronger next year though. Guys, spam the comment section with the hashtag #GetWellZach because this really sucks. The Grizzlies did beat the Wolves last night though, 107-99. Jermichael Green led the way for Memphis with 29 points and Mike Conley had 24 himself. Brandon Rush started in place of Zach and only had 5 points for Minnesota. Karl Anthony Towns did everything he possibly could with 27 points and 16 assists. Dang it honestly just really sucks to think about Zach Lavine going down like that. On some brighter news, I guess, the Washington Wizards got their 17th straight home win and their 7th straight win overall. Behind the Heat, they're probably the second hottest team in the NBA at the moment. 24 points, 13 assists, and 5 steals for the Bandit John Wall, as the entire Wizards starting lineup scores in double figures. 105-91 is your final score. Another low-key hot team though is the Indiana Pacers. And coming into this game, I thought my Pistons were heating up too. Well, that thought left my mind with the quickness though. The Pacers absolutely torched my Pistons, 105-84. And just like the Wizards, the entire Pacers lineup scored in double digits as well, led by Paul George and his own 21 points on 9 of 14 shooting, as they have now won 6 in a row. DeMarcus Cousins almost with back-to-back triple doubles. 32 points, 12 rebounds, and 9 assists, just 1 assist shy of that triple-double. But it's like triple-doubles don't even faze me anymore. I mean, there seems to be one just about every night. Anyways, the Kings got the 109-106 win in OT over the Warriors. Steve Kerr found himself tossed from the game after going off on the officials last night, and Steph Curry missed a pair of bunnies at the rim that could have saved the Warriors. He had 35 points and 9 assists on the night though. You know, this is for the most part what the Spurs do to young teams. Dismantle them in the second half. The game was relatively close going into halftime. I mean, the Spurs only had a 6-point lead, but after that, it was a wrap. 121-97 is your final score. Once again, Kawhi leads the Spurs with 19 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists, and Manu Ginobili and Jonathan Simmons each have 18 off the bench. Rookie Jamal Murray did have 20 for Denver though. The Knicks were on the verge of getting absolutely obliterated on national TV last night against the Cleveland Cavaliers, but the Knicks fought back thanks to Brandon Jennings as he brought the Knicks back into the game and made it entertaining late in the third. Cavs still won though, 111-104. LeBron James was being dared to shoot all night and he was pretty much making outside shots for the most part. 32 points and 10 assists for LeBron, 23 points and 16 rebounds for Love. Like I said, Jennings led a late rebellion but it fell short. Jennings finished with 23 points and 10 assists. In the end though, it was ultimately the missed free throws that led the Knicks to their demise, as they missed 14 of their 28 attempts. Milwaukee almost dropped 50 in the first quarter. Yo, what kind of defense are y'all playing, Phoenix, to let them go out there and score 45 points in the first quarter? Anyways, on the bright side for the Suns, defense didn't matter on Devin Booker once he got hot. In the second quarter, he was basically unstoppable as he went on a hot streak, scoring 27 of the last 33 points of the half for Phoenix. He sadly cooled off though. I mean, he finished the game with 31 points on 9 of 19 shooting, but just imagine what he could have done if he stayed that hot the entire game. For the Bucks though, Giannis had 30 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, and 4 blocks. You know, just all in a night's work for Giannis. Straight up light work. And then Mirza Teletovic had 19 points off the bench as the Bucks get the 137-112 win. The Jazz sent the Hornets to their 7th straight loss last night with the 105-98 victory. Gordon, thanks for making me an all-star Hayward, had 33 points and 8 rebounds, and George Hill had 25 points for the Jazz. They continue to have a good season. They're now 32-19 on the year. Tim Hardaway Jr. with another impressive game. Now, it wasn't as impressive as 23 points in the fourth quarter, but he still dropped 21 points on 8 of 14 shooting from the field. Dennis Schroeder also had himself a nice game with 17 points and 10 assists as the Hawks get the blowout 113-86 win over Orlando. And that about wraps up all the action from the day 103 recap of the 2016-2017 NBA season. And now it's time to get into the player of the day. Yesterday, you guys selected the breakout star Yogi Ferrell and his 32 points and 9 threes as your player of the day. And here are today's nominees. You have DeMarcus Cousins and his 32 points, 12 rebounds, and 9 assists. Giannis Antetokounmpo and his 30 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, and 4 blocks. Hassan Whiteside and his 30 points and 20 rebounds in only 29 minutes. Or John Wall and his 24 points, 13 assists, and 5 steals. As always, you guys can go vote for the player of the day right now on the Amino Hardwood NBA app. The link to the poll will be in the description box below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like on it if you did, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already for more daily NBA videos. And until next time, keep getting the Bucks, Team SDC, and I'm out of here. Peace!